One Piece chapter 1055 is out, and it is one amazing chapter. I'm the Blank Face, and we're going to get right into the video. So chapter 155 starts off with a promotion to One Piece Film Red. So it's a weekly cover photo in the Weekly Shonen Jump, and then you have a beautiful double spread of Luffy, Shanks, and Ota promoting the film. It's a wonderful photo. I love it. It's awesome. And then we have like a little small story of how Yuta created one of her songs. Pretty cool, pretty cute. Can't wait to see the movie. Film Red looks like it's going to be an awesome roller coaster of a movie, and I cannot wait till it comes to theaters here in the States. But to get back to the chapter, it starts off in the Flower Capital, and it resumes where we left off with the fight between Momonosuke and Green Bull, or Warrant. I won't call him Warrant this one because he's pretty impressive this chapter, kind of. But the impressive one is Momonosuke, because Momonosuke is fighting Green Bull with everything that he has, and I'm rather impressed with Momonosuke because his dragon form seems to be just as durable as Kaido's. He's taking blows from an admiral, and he's virtually brushing them off. And he keeps telling Yamato not to fight, and he doesn't want Yamato to fight, and we find out later on in the chapter as to why. So Raizo does a fire release, great fireball jutsu, fire, weak to wood, and for a second they think it may be working, and then he just says, just kidding, fireproof force, and he says that you're up against a Navy admiral. Obviously we would cover our weaknesses, which makes sense. You're admiral, they have to cover their weaknesses. And then Green Bull shoots Raizo with like a tentacle kind of wood vine thing, I don't know, a root, I guess. We're not going to call it tentacles, we'll call it a root, and it starts sucking the nutrients outside of Raizo when he gets withered and old, and he looks about dead, but he's not dead. You can't kill off main characters, and so everyone's shocked. They want to save Raizo, and Kamawatsu and Nekomamushi keep cutting down the roots, but they just keep going back like weeds, because they are weeds. And eventually he catches Denjiro and Kamawatsu and Nekomamushi in his vines, and then it cuts, so we don't see what Green Bull does to them. It just cuts to the castle basement. It goes back to the Flower Capital, and we're in Kozuki Tsukiyasi's secret room. And then in the basement, he opens up a panel to go further into a secondary basement. And then we have somebody, I think it's Robin, who says, "You did well to sniff us out." And we see that Law has joined Robin and Sukiyaki on their journey, and he does a pure Sherlock move and says, okay, it's not really that complicated. You two were missing. Clearly you guys are up to something, the smartest two in the bunch. So yeah, I'm gonna come find you guys. I love the dynamics between Law and Robin because they're both the smart ones, and it's just great seeing them interact together. Even though it's small, it's still awesome. And so as they're headed down to the basement, Sukiyaki says that he never told Orochi or Kaido about this passage. They were finding because of Jack. So they go by a window, and Robin goes to check it out, and it's funny because Law just pops up next to her using his devil fruit, and she's just like, no fair. It's such a cute moment. But hey, I'm not doing any shippings here. And they look out the window, and it's Wano underwater. There's a whole secondary Wano underwater, and that's the old Wano from 800 years ago. Sukiyaki explains that Wano was a much bigger island in the past, but during what I would assume the Great War, they built walls around the city to enclose the island to protect the people, but it resulted in rainwater filling up inside of the city of Wano, and over the course of years, centuries really, the whole town eventually just got submerged. And I was always so curious as to how Wano became the way it was, and this reveal with the lore is just so great. So then when they get to a door, they get to a little closet, and he says they arrived and that this is the road poneglyph. And Robin's like, it's really here. This is the third one. They have three now. They only need one more road poneglyph to get to Laugh-Tale, which means they probably got to fight Shanks. Shanks probably has the final road poneglyph. I don't think Blackbeard has it. Or maybe that's what Blackbeard was going after. I don't know. It'd be pretty cool though. And then he mentions something awesome. He says if you continue to trek a little deeper into the underwater city of Wano, you'll find the sleeping ancient weapon Pluton. Now, I have tons of questions as to what Pluton is. There's so many theories you can come up with. I can't wait till Oda reveals the ancient weapons because I really want to see why they're so feared and what made them so powerful. Sukiyaki goes on to say that retrieving Pluton will require the removal of the walls around the nation, which is also... And that's why it makes it so hard to figure out what Pluton is, because if it was a ship, theoretically you could do like what Luffy was doing with the Noah. You could kind of just move it from the bottom up. So it can't just be a regular ship. There must be something special about Pluton that they're not telling us yet, that we'll probably find out hopefully sooner rather than later. But he mentions that Pluton will require you to move the walls and that you would literally be opening the country, because you would literally move the greatest defenses around them, which is the walls that are built around Wano. And once that's set loose, it's almost like a declaration of war, because that means that the ancient weapon, Pluton, is free. And so when Robin figures this out, she's like shocked. So opening the country was just code for unleashing Pluton, and he wants to know why Kazuki Oden would want that. And Sukiyaki's like, I've told you everything I know. I have no idea what Oden learned while he traveled the sea. And because Oden went to Laugh-Tale, he learned about the true history. So the fact that he wants to open up Wano immediately after Laugh-Tale, clearly it has something to do with the war. And I wonder whose side of the war, the Great War back 800 years ago, Pluton was on, the world government, or was it Joy Boy and his army? I just wonder. But it cuts back to the flower capital and back to Green Bull Warrior and Momonosuke's fight. And he says something really cool. He says, no man can stand a chance against the forces of nature alone. Things like, get it, if Kaido was still in charge, I wouldn't have come here. Which shows the balance that the Yonko actually had in the world, because this is the Admiral talking. He was like, Kaido, for all, he terrible leader, had everybody in Wano short in slavery, but at the same token, his mere presence protected Wano from everybody. No one was rolling up on Wano simply because they knew Kaido was there. No one wanted that smoke. Well, Luffy wanted that smoke. He wanted that smoke since day one, pretty much. Got to Fisherman Island and was like, I'm taking out everybody. I'm taking out Kaido, taking out Big Mom. I don't even care. Luffy wanted all that smoke. But the admirals were like, yeah, we're not finna fight the Yonko, not in their own territory. That's not gonna happen, right? So then he just like, bring me Straw Hat Luffy's head and I'll leave Wano. You guys do whatever y'all want to do with Wano. I just want the newest Yonko's head. So then Yamato's like, Momonosuke, let's just call Luffy and the gang. Let's just beat this guy. Because at this point, Luffy, Zoro, Sanji, all of them, they are a Yonko crew. They're not Ricky Pirates anymore. They're the best of the best at this point. And I gotta give props to Momonosuke here, man. He's like, no, that's not acceptable. And like, the same goes for you. Don't touch him. And he's like, after all that time Yamato spent chained up on Onigashima, she finally had a chance to be free. He doesn't want her bound to Wano anymore, which I love because it shows Momonosuke's growth and how he has relied on so many people through really his 8-year-old life. He's been through more life-altering events than most people will experience in their lifetime, and he's only 8 years old. But I love that in this moment he's thinking of Yamato, and he's saying, I don't want your help because I don't want you to leave thinking that we can't protect our own land. Her and Luffy and Zoro, and it's imperative that he really wants to show them that we can protect Wano. The people staying in Wano can protect Wano, and that if we have to depend on you all, then how can we look them in the eye when they leave and say Wano is safe with us? I love it. He's saying it in tears because he's still 8 years old, but what he's saying is so true, and what he's saying is potent to his own growth in character, because he really does want to be somebody who Luffy and the crew can rely on. So then he starts screaming, now be gone, you demon tree, get out of here, right? To Green Bull and Warrior. And Green Bull was just like, you're just a spoiled kid. And I guess even dragons can be pathetic. And then Momonosuke says, I said leave. And then he shoots him with a blast breath, blowing straight through Green Bull's body that he formed out of the wood and the dirt and the earth. It's a wonderful panel. And Momonosuke is shocked. He's freaking out himself like, whoa, it actually came out. And then his blast causes Green Bull to let go of the rest of the Scabbards, and everyone's praising Momonosuke. They're like, yo, that's awesome. You're like Kaido. This is great. And he does it again. He's like, be gone, still with tears in his eyes. It's like, imagine, you know how when you're like a kid and you like are playing like a sport or something and you're not doing that great, so you start crying, but then your coach keeps telling you to keep going, and so you start doing the stuff right, like you start making your shot, doing whatever you're supposed to do correctly, but you're still crying, but you're happy at the same time. That's what Momonosuke is doing right now. And so he charges another blast breath, and it's funny because Green Bull's actually like, wait a minute, hold on. And he blasts him again, and he just burns down the entire form. And everyone's like, wow, this is impressive. Momonosuke, he's like Kaido, he's really doing it. And then, a sprout pops up, and then Green Bull just grows out of it. He's got to be one of the toughest admirals to defeat, because as long as there's dirt and there's some kind of plant life, he can just grow from a sprout. It's pretty awesome. So he's like, okay, you're trying to burn down the whole town? Like, calm down. Says, you want to take this seriously and you really want to fight me, then I'll just kill you now. You want to be Kaido. he still calls Momonosuke a wannabe Kaido. And I mean, he kinda is. But I think that with time, next time we see him, he's gonna be an amazing character who masters his powers and is gonna be a great asset to Luffy. So then, in the next panel, we see thick bands of dark conquerors, hockey lightning in the sky. And immediately, it freezes Green Bull. And it reminds me of what Zoro did to, what's that snow lady's name? Can't remember right now, so I'm gonna call her the Snow Harpy in Punk Hazard. When Zoro froze her with his bloodlust and fear, Shanks is pretty much doing that right now to an admiral. Green Bull is like, conquers hockey. Who is this? And then it does like this like kind of like this like clicking. I don't know what this is supposed to be. But immediately when it happens, he realizes the red hair pirates, and he realizes that they're there too. And then we cut to the seas outside of Wano, and somebody they're just like, boss, you gotta slow down with this hockey. Like, the newbies are literally passing out. Like, they're foaming at the mouth. You're taking out our own crew. And then Shanks was like, I won't call you Marines cowardly or underhanded for this, but wouldn't you agree it's bad form to go after these worn out saplings, even when they're exhausted from making pirate history? Which, at that point, does kind of take a bit away from the Admiral negative, because kind of shows that, I'm not going to do any power scaling right now, but it kind of shows that Queen and King were not recovered when Green Bull took them out. The same way right now, Luffy, Zoro, and all of them, they're still worn out from fighting Kaido. So obviously you can't recover from a battle as big as the Onigashima fight in a week. So I guess we kind of figured that they were still kind of weak and they still had the bandages on them. So a little bit of a point away from Green Bull, but back to the awesomeness. That is Shanks. Shanks goes through his memories and he's remembering Luffy when he cut himself to prove that he was a strong, and he looks back at Momonosuke when he's born and Komurasaki when she's born, and he's like, does the new age frighten you that much? And this panel, the emotion and the anger on Shanks' face is just epic. It's one of my favorite panels of Shanks. I absolutely love it. And that scares Admiral Green Bull away. He's like, I get it already. It's not like I want to pick a fight with you guys, but things are something key. He says not today anyway, which does kind of still prove that the Marines and the world government still believe that if they have to, they can still fight Yonko and take them out. They're fine fighting them, but it has to be in the right time with the right preparation. And now it's not it. Shanks versus Green Bull. Shanks' whole crew versus Green Bull. Green Bull is losing. He's not winning that fight. I think of it as just Shanks versus Green Bull. Green Bull's not winning that fight. Shanks is clearly a powerhouse. His hockey alone from miles away was able to make an admiral run away. If there was ever an argument for who was the strongest Yonko, I think Shanks has a very good argument of being at the top of that list. His Conqueror's hockey is insane. And after this display of Conqueror's hockey, I think I might do a video on that. We'll see. So we cut back to the Flower Capital where the party's going on. The Straw Hats are still chilling, having fun. And then Luffy starts laughing and says he's gone. And Sanji and Zoro and Jinbe are all looking out over, I'm assuming to where Green Bull was. And then Sanji's like, I guess we didn't need to lend a hand after all. And then Zoro's like, check Momo out, because he's proud of his pupil in Momonosuke. Because got to remember, when Zoro got Emma, he was actually training to use Emma while he was also training Momonosuke. So they got a little bit of a teacher-pupil bond. And then Jinbe says, indeed, and the hockey just now was really something too. And I believe it's Zoro who's saying, yeah, who was that? It's, yeah, I'm pretty sure. Or it's Luffy. I can't really tell. They're the way the speech bubbles are set up, I can't tell who says what. But Luffy just has the biggest grin on his face, and it says, a familiar face just pops into my head. And then the ship drifting in the vast ocean, and Shanks leaves. That's his last parting gift to Luffy. When are they finally going to meet, Oda? Stop teasing this. Luffy is a great pirate. Let him meet Shanks. If they're fighting, they're fighting. I can't tell anymore if Shanks is good or evil. In this chapter, he feels really good. In the last chapter, he felt kind of questionably that he could be evil. I don't know anymore. Shanks is the biggest enigma in One Piece. I can't wait to get his story. But that is the end of chapter 1055. I hope you guys liked my review. If you liked the video, give it a like below, hit that subscribe button, and hit that noti bell. I have tons of video ideas coming, and they will be coming sooner rather than later. I have been The Blank Face, and I will see you in the next one.